All right, let's jump right in. There's this massive shift happening in AI development right now. We've all been focused on asking the perfect question, but that's only half the story. We're moving into a whole new discipline, and it's called context engineering.
Okay, to kick things off, this analogy from Dharma Shah absolutely nails it. Think about it. Prompt engineering was all about learning how to phrase the perfect question. But context engineering, that's like being the librarian who actually curates the entire library the AI gets to read. It's a total game changer.
So how did we even get here? Well, this wasn't some overnight thing. It's really been an evolution, right? Moving from just the art of asking a question to the actual science of building knowledge for an AI.
I mean, remember back in 2023? The hype was insane. Every headline was about prompt engineers with these massive six-figure salaries. And don't get me wrong, that skill was super important, but it was just the first step. The real challenge, the thing we're all realizing now, isn't about the question itself. It's about everything the AI knows before it even tries to answer you. Okay, so we've kind of set the stage for the why. Now let's really dig into the what. What exactly is context, and what does it mean to engineer it? So the core of this whole thing is something called the context window. The easiest way to think about it is like a single sheet of paper you hand to the AI. It's basically its working memory. Anything and everything the AI is going to think about for its very next thought, it has to sit on that one page. And here's the kicker. That page has a strict size limit.
And Andrej Karpathy put it brilliantly from a technical standpoint. If the big AI model is the brain, the CPU, then the context window is its short-term memory, its RAM. It's that active and, crucially, limited space where all the actual thinking gets done.
So this is key. Context is so much more than just the last thing you typed. It's a whole collection of stuff. It's the AI's base instructions, it's the entire history of your conversation, it's any external documents you've given it, and it's all the tools it knows how to use, like searching the web. All of that has to be juggled inside that limited memory.
And managing all that is context engineering. See, it's not about writing one perfect sentence. It's about building an entire system. A system that's smart enough to feed the AI exactly what it needs at exactly the right moment to actually get a job done.
Now, let's look at why getting this right is the secret sauce. It's what separates a clunky demo from an AI application that feels, well, like it's actually magic.
And here is a huge insight coming from developers who are deep in the trenches on this stuff. When an AI agent messes up, it's almost never because the model is dumb. It's a context failure. The model was smart. It just got fed the wrong information. Garbage in, garbage out.
This slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. Look at the left. The cheap demo agent only sees the email, and it gives you that totally useless robotic reply. But on the right, the magical agent gets the full context. Your calendar, your contacts, past conversations, everything. And what's the result? It doesn't just give you a response, it gives you a solution. That is the incredible power of context.
So how do engineers do it? How do they actually manage this limited RAM, this context window, to create those magical experiences? Well, it turns out there's a whole playbook emerging.
There are basically four main strategies. First, you can write information to an external place, kind of like giving the AI a notepad so it doesn't have to keep everything in its head. Second, you can select just the most relevant bits of info to pull into its working memory for a specific job. Third, you can compress stuff, like summarizing a super long document instead of rereading the whole thing every time. And finally, you can isolate tasks. Give a complex problem to a team of specialized AI agents instead of one generalist.
And here's how that might look in a real flow. First, an agent might write out its plan to a simple file. Then, it could select some relevant info from a giant database using a technique called RAG. If the conversation gets too long, it can compress it down to a quick summary. And if it hits a tricky research question, it can isolate that task and hand it off to a specialized research agent. You see? Every step is a way to manage that precious, precious memory.
So when you zoom out, you start to see that this is a really fundamental change in how we think about building with AI. We're not just wordsmithing anymore. We're becoming information architects.
Man, I love this quote. I think it just perfectly captures the whole shift. For a while there, we learned how to talk at the machine. But now, the real goal is to create a shared space, a shared understanding, so we can actually think with it.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Context engineering isn't just some new trick. It is a completely different way of thinking. It's all about designing the flow of knowledge.
This is how we get from cool tech demos to AI systems that are actually reliable enough to use in the real world. And believe me, the people in companies that master this are going to have a massive, massive advantage.
And that really leaves us with this final thought, doesn't it? The focus is flipping entirely. Instead of stressing about crafting the perfect question, the most powerful thing you can do now is to architect the perfect state of knowledge for the AI. That's the future. Thanks for tuning in.